on your smart TV. Submit your own content on info@millenniumnews24.com. Download the Millennium News 24 app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Stay tuned with Millennium TV and Millennium News 24 for the latest updates.
Welcome everyone again our show What's the Way with a great guest today. We have Mr. Mustafa Munir. He's a great teacher, a great Arabic tutor who was delivered over 8,000 lessons, guiding students to become fluent in Arabic and confident speakers, and teaching, of course, children the foundations of Islam through engaging and enjoyable classes. Barakallahu feek, Mr. Welcome in our show. Can you hear me?
Of course. Can you hear me? Loud and
clear.
clear.
I can hear you. Yeah. Wonderful. So first of all, like today we have a great episode with you, Mr. Mustafa. First of all, let me start with talking about this. Today we're going to talk about atheists and what's happened with the atheist. Basically, let me start with this study titled the psychological, pattern of the atheist, which included 320 American male atheists, revealed that half of those who adopted atheism as a choice lost a parent before the age of 20, and that a large number of them suffered greatly in their childhood, and that's a number according to Al Jazeera, which is a very famous channel. So that report is very dangerous. That's what we're going to talk about today, about the atheism. So welcome again. We know all of us, we know what is atheism: non-believing and rejected, refusing all the religions, and believe that we came from some we have schools, but in general, like from the natural, and or we have no reason, we are just enjoying this life, and this is the only chance, and we're going to go back to this after all of this. So welcome back, Mr. Mustafa. So let's go with this. What is your opinion about the atheism? Go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I'd like to say thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and the honor to speak about this very, very important topic. In my opinion, it's a very essential one, and it's a pleasure to be with you. All right, so that is
first. We're so happy because we have you here in our show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Second, if we're going to start, like, first of all, we need to say Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Atheism is, today we're talking about the dangers of atheism, or the negative impact that it has on people's souls and lives.
So you say that that's dangerous. Atheism is dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you explain to me?
Yeah. But first, before we even talk about it, we need to define what atheism is. Atheism is simply the belief that God doesn't exist, or the absence of God's existence. That is simply what atheism means. This is the common definition of atheism, right? Well, actually, the word atheism is the opposite of theism, like the root of the word, which basically means, theism means the belief that God exists. All right. Islamically speaking, atheism means ilhad, and ilhad comes from the root letters lahada, and lahd is the side pocket of the grave. But what is the relationship? What is the correlation? Very simple. The side pocket is a deviation from the main straight hole that is dug in the grave. So basically, atheism, from an Islamic point of view, means a deviation or a negation of God's existence. Okay, and today, as you said, it's very dangerous, and the studies you pointed to can actually say everything that we're going to say today. And today, I'm going to start by talking about atheism and how it impacts souls and societies and individuals versus theism. So we can see the contrast between the two beliefs, or the two views, or how atheists see the world and how believers see the world, and how this affects the individual and the society as a whole. All right.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, the first and most important thing we need to talk about when it comes to atheism is the loss of purpose. So, atheists don't have a purpose for life, they don't think life has a purpose. Whereas a believer knows exactly, particularly a Muslim, knows exactly why he was created. You know, so what? But why is this dangerous? Why is this dangerous? Like, if somebody thinks that this life has no purpose whatsoever, why would that be a dangerous thing? Well, it's very dangerous, because if you think that God doesn't exist and life for you is simply just going to be an accident, like this life existed and happened by a chance, so they think it didn't have a designer. This entire universe, with its complexities, with its intricacies, with its beauty and beautiful things, they think that this existed out of nothing and it didn't have a designer who is all knowing and all wise. But if they believe that life is an accident, you know what is going to happen? And that's what they already believe. They believe that we are just advanced animals. We are just chemical atoms floating in the universe. These are not my words. These are the words of the scholars of atheism, like Richard Dawkins and Sam Harris and all these people. So that's what they believe. Now, if we are just advanced animals, then what is the ultimate meaning of our existence? Now, compare that way of thinking to a believer's thinking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أَيَحْسَبُ الْإِنسَانُ أَن يُتْرَكَ سُدًى. That means, does the human being think that he's going to be left without a purpose? Which basically means you do have a purpose. But what is the purpose of life, Islamically speaking? It's very clear. We have a clear guidance for us. It's something that we know since we were born. And the purpose of our life is to worship one Lord.
Okay, before getting to this, just a quick question. Why should I? Yeah, I agree with you that as a normal person, of course, I'm gonna ask myself, what is the goal from this life? I'm gonna ask myself why I'm here. That's normal questions, and I believe the majority of the humanity they ask themselves this question. That's very, very important question. But why should I go with myself from this question to worshiping God? So maybe how should I choose the right answer in your opinion, according to your experience?
Of course, it is very normal. I think every one of us at some point of their lives ask themselves the same that existential question, which is, why am I here? What is the purpose of life? How do we go from purpose to worship? That was your question, right?
Yeah. How should I answer my question in the right way?
Yeah, well, you ask very simple questions. The very first question that you ask: did the universe exist on its own, or did it exist out of nothing, or it has a creator? This is the very first thing that you start with. Like, think of it this way. If you were put on an island, and what is the first question are you going to ask? Who put me there? And how did I get here? You know? So atheists think that they were created out of nothing. And Allah says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ. Were they created out of nothings, or were they themselves the creators? Obviously, there has to be a creator for the universe. You know what I mean? So that's what I meant by starting from the question of purpose. You ask yourself, what is the purpose of life? The very first thing you have to ask, or you have to basically, the first conclusion you have to come to is that there must be a creator for this life. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what I meant. And then you move on to the next phase, which is worshiping that creator. And I just want to say something. Worshiping, or the idea of worship, particularly from an Islamic point of view, is a bit different from any other religion. And how basically
Okay,
worship
but
is,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. I'm sorry, but the point is,
Mhm.
why, as an atheist, why should I believe in God from the whole beginning?
100%. This is
Maybe,
a one. Yeah.
maybe, yeah. I respect you have a God. I respect him. I respect you. But why should I believe? Why should I push myself to believe?
Well, that's a great question. Look, why should you believe in God? Because the belief in God brings you tranquility and inner peace. If you don't believe in God, even a small child, even a small child, when his mother is around, he is peaceful and calm and have this like tranquility, and basically doesn't worry. He has hope. Why should you believe in God? You should believe in God because believing in God brings hope even in times of suffering. If you're suffering, like if a believer suffers, he sees goodness in that suffering. He sees what, like, because he believes in God, he knows that he will ultimately have an afterlife, and Allah will be or God will reward, or Allah will reward him in this afterlife. That's why you should believe in God. You should believe in God because believing in God brings you comfort. It brings you calmness. A true believer has his heart firm. A true believer in God will live life with, as we said, with a purpose and with tranquility and inner peace. That's why I think you should believe in God. And that was a great question. Um, in my opinion, if I were an atheist, I would be scared. Why? Because if I live my life knowing that this entire universe existed out of nothing, I don't think it's going to be a very nice, comfortable life. You know what I mean? So you asked the
And
question, why should
anxiety.
you believe in God? Yeah. So that's why I think you should believe in God, because believing in God brings you all these good things like comfort, tranquility, and peace, even during the times of suffering. Like believers, when they are suffering, they see goodness in suffering. I don't think an
Well,
atheist sees goodness in suffering.
well, well,
Don't you
well, well,
agree?
that's a great point. That's a great point. You talked about this, and let me add this point that I think we, as humans, as a human being, we are weak,
Absolutely.
and anyone he want to refuse this fact, to be honest, like, he doesn't know himself.
Absolutely.
Because if you're sick because maybe a small virus, or you're sick, or you have any problem, so you can't help yourself. You need
Yeah.
someone. You need go to a hospital. Maybe you're sick is something very dangerous, and that's why we have limits as humans. And that's why I
Absolutely.
think we, from this point, the feeling will be full of, like, will be horrible. Something that will be horrible.
A
So how
hundred
you
percent.
can run from this? So I think we, as a human being, that's related to our nature. So in this
Yeah.
case, we have to believe in something that makes you yeah, feel okay. I'm feeling peace and comfortable zone. That's what I meant. Yeah,
I
yeah.
total
Please
I
go ahead.
totally I totally agree with you on that point. Every human being, even atheists themselves, has to believe in something. They have to depend on something. We are not independent creatures. We have to depend on something. And
Absolutely.
Allah says, as you pointed out, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. The mankind was created weak. And that weakness, I think we derive our strength from God. If you, like, decided to be arrogant and say, I can like operate in life on my own, no, the very first moment you get a cold, like just a cold, like a small virus that you can't even see, you're gonna call for something. Yeah, you
Yeah,
need
you want
things.
medicine. You want help. You want a doctor.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what they say? there are no atheists on a crashing plane or a sinking ship. Everyone,
Absolutely.
everyone,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's a very, very good point. Absolutely. That's what I'm
yeah.
gonna say.
Because this is in our nature. Allah created us with this fitra, like to believe that there's a creator. Fitra, for those of you who don't know, basically means the natural, innate uh, inclination to believe in goodness and God, to believe that God exists. Like think of it this way: if I tell you that this phone, if you find this phone on the ground and you come to me and say, look, this phone came out of nothing. It came by chance, and nobody designed this phone. What is going to happen? Like, what am I gonna say to you? I'm gonna say, you must be crazy. What do you mean? This phone has a designer. Therefore, the universe you see with its beauty, look inward, look at yourself, look at the world around you. Everything screams for God's existence. So I don't know how they come to the conclusion that God doesn't exist. And today we're talking about the dangers of atheism, right? But why is this dangerous? The highest suicide rates are among those who have this belief. Suicide rates are very high among those who don't think life has no meaning. And by the way, this is not surprising to me. It is not surprising because if I were an atheist, if I were to think, God forbid, that this life has no purpose, as I said, I would be very scared. I would be very, very scared. And
That's a very good point. We
yeah,
have a break now. They just
sure,
we have a break now. I'm gonna go to break and then we will be back.
perfect. We're in the break now.
Hello viewers, this is BARRA from Middle East. Welcome to our show with The Way with BARRA. We bring here this platform Middle Eastern life culture, politics and the global village. I will be with you every Thursday, 1 p.m. live TV. Also podcasts. All iOS and Android devices. All smart TV Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. Globally, Horizon Satellite, and our website, MillenniumNewsTV24.com, MillenniumNews24.com, all social media platforms, Millennium News. I will see you there.
Welcome back, everyone, in our show. Going back to our topic, actually, and to be honest, there is an example. It's a very great example. I just prepared, but let me give you the source. You're gonna go to page number 210, which
Mhm.
is Surah Yunus in the Quran. Okay,
Oh
you're gonna
yeah,
go to
verse
verse
22.
number 20. It's number 21. Number
Okay.
22. I'm sorry,
Yep.
22.
Yep.
You went to this, you're gonna say the example like that you also said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the whole in the Quran, he said like هو الذي يسيركم في البر والبحر, but let me say it only in English.
Yeah.
He is the one who enables you to travel through land and sea, and it so happens that you are on ships sailing with favorable winds. When passengers alight, suddenly the ships are overcome by a glad wind, and those on board are overwhelmed by waves from every side. In this moment, and they assume they are doomed, they cry to Allah alone and they pray. They said, if you save us from this, we will certainly be grateful.
Yeah.
So Allah, he said this example. After this example, he said, when I, Allah the Almighty, save you, non-believers, from this problem, you will deny, you will refuse, you will go back to your old, to your, let me say, old virgin from all
The
this.
old ways. Yeah.
So this is and that's unfortunately that's the problem. That's what I want to say, that when the problem, Mr. Mustafa, that I believe in something. Okay, that the problem, it's not to believe or not believe. The right, if are you interested from this point? If
Yeah.
I care about this point or I
Yeah.
don't care. When I say like the majority of the people, the atheists, they
Mhm.
don't care. They are not interested with this. And
Yeah.
this is a very that's dangerous, because it should give you this example, and 100% if you are in the same place, you're gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
So you can believe in anything around you. So so that's why we're gonna say that we should think about this. We should
Yeah.
think about this, and we should ask this question. But why? How should I, from your experience? We have a short time.
Yeah.
How you should choose the right way?
How you should choose the right way? Like how
Yeah.
should
Okay.
how do you know?
Yeah.
How do
How
you
do you know
know
the
what
right?
is right and wrong?
Yeah, but no. Basically, if I am an atheist, okay,
Yeah.
and I want to ask myself, okay, how should I know the right way?
Yeah. Very simple.
Maybe
This
I'm
is
gonna follow
That's
Christianity.
a good
So
question.
what do you think
That's a
about
good
this?
question. So how do I know basically? Like because this is a question that atheists ask all the time. Like if there are so many religions, how do I know which one is the path or the way to the creator of the universe? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, 100%.
So basically, it's a very simple process. You have three main major religions in the world. You should simply do your due diligence and do your homework by just see what each one of them brings to the table. What Judaism brings to the table, what Christianity brings to the table, and what Islam brings to the table. And in my opinion, this may sound biased, but Islamically speaking, or Islam is the way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the way to God, because for very simple reasons. We are the only faith that has their guidance preserved. There is no faith on earth that has guidance or the direct word of God preserved as much as Islam do. So that is what I think the way to basically choose which way or which path is the right path towards God. You should do your in my opinion, the very first thing, you should just have an open heart and be completely sincere and ask God to guide you to the right path. If you have this sincerity, this honesty, this like basically seeking the truth, ultimately you will find God, you will find Allah. And just look into the most look into different religions, and but I think Islam is the way of life. Islam is the right way. And if that's what you're asking, just be sincere and be honest, and you will eventually reach the right conclusion, or you will eventually find the way of God. That's how I think it is.
That's a very good problem. So in this case, basically, or if we want to finish this meeting talking about this, I think is there's a very dangerous psychological uh,
Impact,
issues
yeah.
on
Yeah.
the atheist, and that's according to the report. It's not according to the studies. It's not my
You know why that's the case?
my saying, and
In my
that's the
opinion,
beginning.
it's
I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that this is the case because they have no strong or solid moral foundation. It's fluid, it changes, it's
Space.
relative.
There's space.
Exactly. They think morality changes. Like what was right yesterday could be wrong today. What is wrong today could be right tomorrow. Everything is fluid. Everything is relative. It's subjective. Whereas in Islam or believing in God, you have a clear, concrete, solid moral foundation for everything. What was wrong 1400 years ago is still wrong today. And I can give you numerous examples. I can give you many, many, many examples to show that, like, for example, take homosexuality as an example. homosexuality was something that was frowned upon and unacceptable in the Western society tens of years ago. Nowadays, it's fairly acceptable. It's something that basically most people like don't have a problem with. But why? Because of this like relativism. Like they think everything is like subjective. It doesn't have a strong one way of looking at things. And that why is this dangerous? I'm gonna end with this one. Sorry if I take too long
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Take your time. You
It
take
is
your
very
time.
dangerous because it opens the door for many more dangerous ideologies and inclinations and desires. If you are okay with such a thing today, you're going to be okay with like incest tomorrow, or you're going to be okay with like pedophilia, God forbid. Why? Because there is no foundation. It's not strong. There's no moral and like solid concrete foundation and ground to stand on. It changes. It changes. So that's why I think it's very dangerous, and it might have a huge psychological impact on the individual and by extension the society as a whole. It can impact the individual because an individual is a unit of society. If an
Yeah,
individual
of
is
course, of course.
impacted
You don't
and
see anything.
influenced,
You don't
yeah,
see everything.
yeah, of course. So that's why I think it's super dangerous. And I think it's dying out because humanity needs God. Humanity needs a Lord. Like if you live with the idea that there is a most merciful, that if you believe in the most merciful, if you believe in a Lord that is more merciful to you than your own mother, if you believe in a Lord that is all wise, in a Lord that is just. This is very important because atheists don't think that justice can be served ultimately. Because if you basically harm someone, if you're an atheist and you harm someone, like we're just animals harming one another. But if you're a
Yeah.
believer and if you harm someone, you know that even if you didn't get justice in this life, it will be served in the afterlife. That's why I think believing in God, particularly Allah, is much more, it's a lot better than just being an atheist. Yeah.
That's very good. That's very good. I'm so glad again we have this important issue, and this is Mr. Mustafa. I'm so happy because we have you here in this show. Ladies and
Thank you so much.
gentlemen, that's the end of this episode. Hopefully, like you got benefit from this object. I will see you inshallah next Thursday. Maybe we'll have you inshallah next maybe in the
It
next
will be an
few
honor.
episodes. Like I'm so happy again. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much.
accepting our offer just
Of course.
and
Thank
be
you so
here.
much for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
Barakallah feek, barakallah feek. So I'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, every Thursday again, next Thursday, 1 p.m. And Ramadan Barak for all the Muslims around the world. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.